Hurricanes, boys. I'm going to go, again, one of my top few picks. I'm going to go Siali Lawaki.
How dare you?
Yeah, I knew you'd feel that way. So he's obviously a prop, the way that Cargie's reacting. The 21-year-old did debut last year. He's 194 centimetres tall, 125 kilos. He's a tight head prop, so he's obviously in that mould of the big props that are coming through nowadays. He played for New Zealand under-20s. He's the first choice prop for Wellington in the NPC last year, averaging 53 minutes. So he's got enough of an engine to kind of hold the majority of the game. He scored 2 tries and made another assist as well, try assist for Wellington. And I like that he also scored in his one game that he played for the Hurricanes, or he started for the Hurricanes last year as well. So he's got a try. He's got 3 tries across the season as a 20-year-old prop at the time coming through. So not only is it a big unit, but he's obviously putting the work in to put himself in the right places of the field to actually capitalise. So I think that's a deadly combination. I thought he was very good when he was scrummaging. You know, you're always kind of licking your lips as the opposition when a 20-year-old comes on to take the field in the front row, but not to be. He's strong and he's very rock solid.
And he's got some good mentors to learn from there. He's got Lomax, he's got Priscilla Tossi. So, game time, yes, will be limited. But, look, I think they had a lot of injuries which saw him come on last year. He'll be ready to go. So
even in Wellington, mate, he was playing next to Namir and Apasai.
Yeah.
And then Asafra Amua comes in at hooker for a couple of games as well. Like, he's got some world-class players around him to learn off. It's a pretty handy mentorship that he's going through.
100%. Nels, who you got?
Fehi Fanganofo. Fehi Fine, I'm trying to do this without reading. Fehi Fine Nofo.
You want to try one more time? Just run that back. Say it 3 times fast.
No. Fehi.
Okay.
Him.
Tell us about
him. So he's coming across from the sevens, making the switch from the sevens. Played a fair bit in the forwards for sevens, used to the physical side of the game. But he also normally would play centre, shifted in the NPC to wing to play a fair bit there. He's just obviously come through that sort of channel that we've seen so many of these Kiwi players, break onto the scene quite quickly in the sevens and then transition across into Super Rugby. And I think there's a lot of prowess, there, and there's a fair bit of ability, and it's a side where there might be some opportunities for him to break in.
I was going to say, I think there is some opportunities in the outside backs this year. Like,
they lost Rayasi.
They've lost Rayasi. Ruben Love wants to play 10. I know he's going to be out to start the year for 6 weeks or something like that, but then he doesn't really want to play 15. Harry Godfrey's probably their next choice 15, who's very, very young and very much a 10 kind of mould.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot there. I shouldn't say that. Like, obviously, there's still Kenny Naholo and the likes, But
the thing they have is they have a lot of centres that can play on the wing, like Alan Sullivan.
They've got Daniel Sinkinson as well. So I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that you see this guy get a go. And if he's got that athletic X factor, it's an age profile where it's maybe not quite as hard to establish yourself in a team.
Definitely, he's got some awesome 7 highlights. Like he was a real enforcer, a lot of good hits. So one of those bigger kind of centre wings. But as you said, pushed out to wing, could be picked in the Hurricanes for that very reason. So
Nice.
Look, we just touched on him. We just mentioned Harry Godfrey, and suddenly they've got no 10s with Ruben Love not back for. Well, I'm surprised it was only 6 weeks. I actually thought it was longer.
I'm going off memory. It might be slightly longer, but it's not the whole season.
Okay, I actually thought it was the whole season, and Aidan Morgan gone as well. So anyway, with Harry Godfrey, they've signed from the Blues last year Lucas Cashmore to come on down. He's basically for all money competing, I think, for that 10 jersey, which is very exciting for the Hurricanes. They kind of haven't really locked. It's been a while since Bowden's left. They haven't really locked down their 10 jersey properly, is what it's felt like. But he, by all accounts, son of a great All Black, and he is someone who was certainly getting very excited about up in Auckland. So particularly if Godfrey is looking at playing 15, if they're looking at playing him there, which he's played mainly 15 for the Hurricanes so far, who knows? So I think at the moment Godfrey and Cashman will both be competing at 10.
So Riley Hohepper's obviously made the move from the Crusaders as well as the experienced man there.
Mhm.
Do you think that they'll get picked above him?
I did forget that Riley Hohepper's made it.
It's hard. It's
a tough one.
a tough one to see how that goes. Like, they've obviously brought him in for that experience, but that doesn't mean he walks into that starting jersey, I believe, either. So,
Yeah, I don't know. How did you guys feel about Riley Hohepper last year? Like, he obviously was brought into the Crusaders to take over from Taha and Ribez Rahana, from Taha Kamara and Ribez Rahana. But last year, the way I felt was I would rather of them had kept playing Kamara and Rahana. I'm pretty sure Taha got injured for a while. And maybe Rahana did as well, but
well, that wasn't why he got the start. I think they just weren't completely happy with the two young men's ability to control the game, and he was obviously the stable option for them as a bit more experienced. But I do find that it's very hard to judge a 10 sometimes because you tend to just judge them on the team's performance.
Yeah,
and the Crusaders obviously had their worst year in many years, losing twice to the Wooden Spoon Waratahs just to point out. Win for the boys. But I think they were the only times it happened last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hohepper, he was solid without being spectacular. I think Godfrey, I really love watching him play, but the fact that he just didn't get any minutes really there at 10 in the NPC worries me that he's probably not been groomed for that this year either. So I do think Hohepper's probably your top chance of being there. And then Cashmore and Godfrey, who knows?
I think as a coach as well, if you were to go, well, we know Ruben Love's coming back. If we see Ruben Love as our first choice, do we need someone who just gets us through this period, or do we need to start working on someone who may also be an option longer term and that sort of thing? So, that's a specific choice, that I think coaches are going to use differently, All
right. And sorry, look, I've started this on a whole lot of conversation here, I guess, for the previews, but no, new young hot shit, Lucas Cashmore. I think we could have talked about him last year as new young hot shit of the Blues, but new young hot shit of the Hurricanes this year. So any final players, Nels, do you want to mention Tom Allen for the Hurricanes?
No.
No? All right. Well, you heard it here first. Unlucky, Tom Allen.
I thought for sure he was going to get a mention, but nope, not going to get a mention.
Just squeeze in next year.
Sure. We need to lose some players for then.